Gang, welcome back to my channel. This is me, Joshua Base here in Down Under. You know what I mean? This one, we are about to react to a video which is called Reverse Culture Shock between living in America after leaving America and coming to Australia for 1.5 years. The reason I'm reacting to this because this lady, she articulated some key point and what is the difference between these this country. Me myself, I want to know what it would feel like to be in America. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's play the video, and I will tell you some of the different that are most. I agree to most of the stuff, but I just want to get some knowledge from this lady about the American culture. All right. Let's begin.
Beautiful Sydney, Australia. This video is so long overdue, you guys. I'm finally getting to the reverse culture shocks of what it's like moving to Australia, going back to the States to visit family, and then coming back to Australia. In fact, this list was so long, I have to break this video up into 2 parts. So today we're getting into the first 10 huge reverse culture shocks that I faced.
All right.
So if you want to see what it's like from an American's perspective going back to the States after living abroad for a year and a half, grab a Bicky, grab a cuppa, and let's get right into this video.
Let's go. Culture shock between...
So when we went back to the States, obviously we didn't visit every single city in every single state. Mark and I went to Houston. We spent most of our time in Philly, my hometown, and we spent a couple days in New York. So just know that what I'm talking about is from a very limited perspective, you guys. There is no possible way to cover what it is like all across the US. And the first culture shock that I saw was the homelessness situation, particularly in Philly. Now, walking around the Sydney CBD, yes, we do see homeless people out on the street, but not even close to the extent that I saw them in Philly. I'm talking every single city block, we ran into at least one person who looked like they were homeless. And I'm not saying they were wearing kind of ratty clothes or just looked a little bit down on their luck. I mean, it is very clear that they had nowhere else to go.
Oh, shit. 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 Damn, that's crazy. Hey man, down over here, you guys met. It looks from far like they got it all, but it's not. It's not all that sweet. It's all sweet over there. That's what we all know it, man. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's shocking for real. To be honest, shocking as fuck. Cause we thought like over there they got it all. You know what I mean? We don't know that like.
In fact, there are some situations where it actually felt a little bit scary for us, which is something
like for real. You don't get me wrong, like you know, but
I never had to deal with over here in Sydney. I forgot what it's like actually being a little bit afraid of some homeless people. Not because they're all bad or because they've got a screw loose, but some of them look downright dangerous. In fact, we had one guy with a switchblade who looked like he was trying to clean it off, and he came up to us. Now, granted, it was closed, but was holding it out to us like, do you guys know how to dry this off? Do you know how to dry this off? Random homeless guy with a switchblade. Okay, not exactly what I was expecting my first week back in my home country. The homelessness situation in Philly has gotten so out of hand, and we're fortunate enough that in Sydney, it's not nearly as bad as it is over in the States. Granted, it's still a problem, it's still an issue over here, but not even close to the extent that it is back in my home city. I know this is going to start off as like a little bit of a negative list, but the second thing I noticed was just how dirty Philly is. New York, a little bit too, to be honest. Houston was bright and sunny and big, beautiful blue skies. We didn't notice it nearly as much there, but granted, we were only there for one day. In Philly, it is such a dirty, gritty, grimy city. I mean, the streets aren't cleaned at all. The buildings aren't cleaned at all. There's graffiti everywhere. And everywhere you go, you feel like you're walking in dirt. It's tough to explain, but unless you've seen how beautiful and clean and pristine the CBD is here in Sydney, it's really tough to explain to Americans just how different it is. You have a couple of nicer areas, but even then, the upkeep in those isn't all that great, if I'm going to be honest. The sidewalks look dirty, the streets look dirty. It's like the buildings are covered in some kind of grime. It's so difficult to
Damn.
explain. And that doesn't take away from some of the beautiful architecture Philly has to offer. Philly is an incredible historic city. But the reality is, if you're spending time there and you're not just in the touristy places, it's kind of a dirty city to be in. Number three was a little bit heartbreaking for me because I remember walking around pre-pandemic and Philly was a huge, thriving, bustling city. And walking around the city, it was about a third of the offices and the shops were for rent or for lease. COVID hit so many small businesses so hard over in the
Crazy.
States. And we're definitely seeing the aftermath of that now, 3 years into or slightly post-pandemic. I
Damn.
remember going to this restaurant for lunch or going shopping in this place on my lunch break, and so many of those stores just aren't around anymore or they've completely moved way further down the street. It is so sad seeing so many places closed up. Walking around Sydney CBD, I do see for lease signs and for rent signs, but not nearly as much as I do. It still feels like Sydney is thriving, it's bustling. Whereas in Philly, I don't have that feeling anymore. It's like so many places have closed up and so many offices have people working from home now
Damn.
that the city's like kind of starting to die out a little bit. Number four, and I know Aussies are going to get on me for this one, but there's an abundance of fast food places over in the States. I know America is notorious for its fast food. Everybody loves to talk about the fat American stereotype where someone's just sitting there eating a Big Mac. But the truth is, there
Hey, on that point, my cousin told me and my cousin, we look like this. He told me there's nobody in America that look like us. That is crazy, bro. He said to me, bro, because you referring to the food fast food, whatever. He said to me, there's nobody in America look like us. Like, I say why? Because like he say, bro, the burger over there is you like it's so big and all this stuff, and then like the fast food is everywhere. Like people are huge. You know what I mean? Like there's nobody look like us over there. I said, really? That proved my cousin point, man.
are
Let's go.
so many fast food places. It's so easy to access places like McDonald's and
Yeah.
Taco Bell and Wendy's and KFC. Just everywhere, and in a lot of cases, they're actually cheaper options than shopping at other food places or even cooking food at home yourself. So there is an abundance of fast food places over in the States. It was almost overwhelming the choices that we had in the limited amount of time that we were there. Number five, this one kind of gets under my skin, is rude Uber drivers. I've dealt with a couple, like, kind of rude-ish ones over here in Sydney, but it felt like 9 out of 10 of the Uber drivers we had over in the States, whether it be in Philly or Houston or New York, were just rude people. I'm not saying you need to have the best customer service if you're riding an Uber. I'm sure it's not the most fun, exciting job out there, but the level of rudeness that we faced, people were just flat out ignoring us if we were asking them questions. We've had people who just gave us dirty looks from the front seat of the car like we were doing something wrong sitting there and having a regular
what country is that?
conversation. Like we
Haven't
were
seen
supposed to just sit there in silence for 20 minutes. I've never had that experience over here in Australia. It felt like we were inconveniencing them that we needed a ride somewhere, when that's quite literally the job that you volunteered for, signed up for, are getting paid for. After being home, that one really got under my skin, and I pointed it out to Mark when we got back. I'm like, at least the Uber drivers here, granted some of them are not the best drivers here, but at least they're nice. You can't say that about a lot of Uber drivers that we ran into over in the States. Number six is customer service people in the States hate chit chat. They don't want to deal with small talk. They want to get you whatever it is you need and then have you move on so that way they can help the next customer. Especially in Philly, I'm not necessarily proud of this, but we've been voted the rudest city in the States, which kind of feels like getting a trophy for last place in a beauty pageant, if I'm going to be honest. It is not something you really want to be proud of, but I can definitely see where they're coming from because people in Philly
Would you buy this property if you knew that it would cost you $10,000 in negative cash flow in the first year? What about if you knew that it was going to give you $500,000 of total return over the next 10 years?
I don't know.
That's an average of $50,000 a year.
Do not have time for small chit chat, small talk. They're not really the friendliest people you're going to run into.
They're not your friend.
At least if you're a tourist. Same thing in New York as well. It's tell me what you need so I can give it to you and then be on our way. If Mark tried to start a little bit of chit chat with some of the customer service people, some of them looked at him like he was an alien. Like, why are you still talking to me? Or why are you trying to talk to me? I just want to do my job. So just know that if you're going over there, that's kind of the norm over there. That's kind of the culture, especially in Philly. Not that they're necessarily rude. They just don't want to deal with chit chat and small talk.
No way.
Number 7 is Americans hate comparisons between America and any other country,
Oh, yeah,
even
yeah,
if it's in their favor. Americans just get so caught up, shocked, taken aback if you bring up any sort of comparison between America and Australia, or America and any other country for that matter. And I'm not even talking on the political hot button issues like healthcare and education, gun reform, nothing like that. Now, I'm talking about like small little things like how cuts of meat are different in both countries, especially when it comes to steak. I'm talking about how we don't have pennies over here in Australia and our money looks completely different. I'm talking small little comparisons. Anytime you bring up any comparison, Americans kind of get their back up a little bit, even if you're talking about something in America's favor. Americans just don't like to hear comparisons between America and other countries. And I don't know if it's because we're so used to this American-centric mindset over in the States.
I don't know, man. Let me go watch it with people.